88-year-old Eleanor Holmes Norton, a congressional delegate to the U.S. House representing Washington, D.C., wants to serve another 2 years. This goes back to the conversation of term limits. If she decides to run, she'll probably be re-elected and will be over 90 years old by the end of her next term. Now, her office did walk back these comments, which I think is a good idea, but the fact that we're even having this conversation is ridiculous. I've always been a big fan of term limits, especially in Congress. The House of Representatives should have term limits. The Senate should have term limits. We already have it, of course, with the president. In my opinion, I think the House should be a maximum of 10 years, and the Senate should be the maximum of 2 terms, 12 years. Okay, so 5 terms for the U.S. House and 2 terms for the Senate. I think that's perfect, because you have to ask yourself, if Eleanor gets reelected and she's 90 years old, now obviously she can't vote for laws because she's a delegate, but she's representing Washington, D.C., a big city, a very important city in our country. How is she going to be keeping up with all the technology, all the improvements that's happening in this world? 90 years old? On top of traveling, speaking on just current issues, how's she going to be that good representative for her people? And another thing I always realized was, like, these politicians, they start to care more about getting reelected, especially in the U.S. House. They care more about getting reelected than they do care about their own people. I feel like if we actually added terms, like 5 terms max to a representative, I think they could actually do a lot more, focus a lot more in their time that they have. But if they know they're going to be backed by a lot of money, they know they're going to have that name ID, well, they could just relax, do the bare minimum, because they know, come the primary, come the general election, and their next election, they have an easy ride, especially in these very Democrat areas or very Republican areas. We see Nancy Pelosi, who's been there since the 1700s in a very liberal area like San Francisco. She doesn't have to do anything, all right? She doesn't have to put her name on any legislation, doesn't have to spend a dime, and she'll get reelected, no problem. And San Francisco has made a big downhill turn. But on the other hand, if these people actually want people like Eleanor to represent them at 90 years old, Nancy Pelosi to represent them, hey, I mean, you gotta look at it this way as well. You look at your job. If you're doing good enough, they're gonna keep hiring you. They're gonna keep you on the job. If you're not doing good enough, they're gonna fire you. I guess you could use that same logic for term limits for your politicians. If they're not doing a good job, you can vote them out. But that also goes back to the name ID, the money, the popularity of just saying, okay, go to the ballot. Yeah, Nancy Pelosi, I know her name. I'll just do that. It's Nancy Pelosi, right? How could you not vote for Nancy Pelosi? How could you vote for this other dude, Bob Smith, a Democrat primary runner challenger? He might actually have better ideas. He might actually be a better thing for your area, for your district. But it's Nancy Pelosi, right? It's Eleanor Norton. I'm just going to vote for them because that's the people I know my whole life. But you don't know about Bob Smith because he doesn't have the money. He doesn't have the recognition. The Democrat parties for the state, for the county, they don't even care about him. They brush him off. Even though he's qualified, even though he could be a real difference, positive change for your area. It's not necessarily the age that matters. It's just at the term limits, all right? We need fresh ideas. If you're 90 years old and you're coherent, and you're on top of everything, you're on top of all the current events, you're on top of all the technology, all the changing demographics, hey, that's fine. But I still think we need new ideas, new fresh ideas. And that's why I think term limits should be the deciding factor, not age. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. What do you think of Eleanor Norton potentially wanting to run for another term, going to be over 90 years old in her next term, by the end of her next term if she decides to run? What do you think about term limits in general? Should there be term limits? Should there be an age limit? Let me know down below. Make sure to subscribe. I'm out. Peace.